Here's something we can all bite into. People who grew up without a lot of money share the frugal skills that rich people know nothing about. All right? Now, I grew up middle class.
Maney,
so
hold on.
You
Before
did not
we
grow
get
up
into
middle
this,
class.
the other week, y'all, I pulled out, I said oodles and noodles, and Maney said, what's that?
Yeah, Maney
So
did not grow up middle
before
class.
we continue on with this, I want to make that clear.
I did grow up middle class.
Did you get a car for your 16th birthday?
17, but yes.
You're not middle class.
I earned it.
By doing what?
I was on The Price is Right, Loren, and
You were not. Lies.
No, of course not. But here are middle class. My dad was a commercial airline pilot. Here are things that people who didn't have a lot of money said they learned, and rich people will never know how to do these. Coming up with meals with whatever's left over in the pantry or the fridge without a recipe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just putting it together. What's the last time you put together a Transformer meal?
Probably. Sometimes, okay, now I'll do it just for comfort. So it won't even. It won't even be. You know
Just
what I'm
for
saying?
fun now.
Sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna go get that, and I'm gonna make that, and we gonna find us a
what you got
creation.
in here?
So
Yep.
one time when I was in college, I didn't have no money to go like get a real sandwich, so I had some barbecue chips and I had some bread. And I ate it, and I felt like I was eating a pulled pork sandwich.
A chip sandwich.
Yep.
How to use and repair everything and then run it into the ground without replacing it. Fixing everything.
I wish I was handier, and I feel like if my dad was around a little bit longer, I would have picked up that skill. I can put things together, no problem, but to rebuild something is an issue for me.
People who grew up with not a lot of money say they learn these skills. Rich people will never have these skills. Like, for instance, getting sick of food. I'll eat pizza 7 days a week, somebody said.
I would.
I love that. A person with money is like, I had pizza 3 days ago. I'm not doing that today. I automatically add groceries up in my head as I shop, so I'm not embarrassed by having to put...
One thing about it, I don't play. And one thing about Albeezy, I'm going to check the bank account in the store. I don't care. I don't care who see it. I'm not getting to this register and being embarrassed. I'm not going to do it.
I love you, Beezy. That is so funny. Someone said, gratefulness. I was very grateful because there are people in situations that are worse than your own. No matter how far down you are, there's somebody else that has it worse than you.
That's true.
So people who don't have a lot of money tend to be a little more grateful than people with a lot of money. Let's see. Someone said, I live comfortably now and still can't bring myself to buy new clothes. I'm a thrifter to this day. I'll never pay full price for furniture or clothes.
Okay.
I like that.
I like that too.
Thrifting.
Very mindful of the environment as well.
What'd you say? Very mindful, very demure,
Yes,
Loren?
very demure, very mindful.
Very demure, very mindful.
We'll see you again in 3 months. When somebody else brings it up. Anyway, I thought that was good stuff. Things have blown up since we last spoke with you.
We're having a whole discussion off the air.
Because the conversation we had a little while ago was people who didn't grow up rich shared skills that they learned that rich people will never learn. One of my favorites was making stuff out of the refrigerator or pantry with whatever you had, and you made Big Al ate a chip sandwich, for God's sakes. Okay,
you gotta do what you got to do.
Right, and a person with money would never think of that. How to do that wouldn't even cross their mind. So I said, off the air, I said, well, I grew up as a middle class family in New Jersey, and Loren off the air was like, you did not grow up middle class. I'm telling you, I grew up middle class.
From what you have told me, okay, you grew up in an affluent neighborhood in New Jersey, in Montvale, New Jersey, okay? You had one working parent and one stay-at-home parent, and you got a brand new car for your 16th birthday. That does not sound middle class to me.
So did everyone around us. They all had that situation. Now, not everybody bought their kid a new car. My dad's philosophy was if you bought the kids a new car, they're more likely to take care of the newer car and avoid, driving crazy and avoid any engine issues. He's like, if you buy a clunker, you're going to have a clunker. So that's why. Now, I feel like see, the problem is that you're learning you grew up poor. And I'm not being mean, but you're comparing me to you. And, I grew up in New Jersey. Here's my brother, Rich. Let's ask Rich. Good morning, Rich.
Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing?
We're good.
Good. How are you, Rich?
All right. Go ahead.
Good. So like Al, we did have nice cars, but we ate a lot of chip sandwiches for dinner.
Yeah, he's lying. He's trying to be funny. He wrote that one on a piece of paper.
But Rich,
I did. I quickly.
would you
We were
consider
upper- I
your
would say-
family middle class?
No, I would say we were like legitimately upper middle class. I live in the Marvin area, and I watch I drive my daughter to school, and a lot of the kids have Mercedes, BMWs, and I don't think they're their parents' cars.
That's rich.
So
That's rich.
So
I agree.
Okay.
We had nice stuff. We lived in a nice neighborhood. We're upper middle class, I would say.
Still middle class, though.
When we
but
were
upper
off the air, didn't I say to Maney, I said, I'll give you upper middle class.
Yeah, that was said.
I didn't hear that.
That was said.
There was people that were way richer than us that lived around us in the neighborhood, including a cocaine dealer who had a huge, enormous home.
Well, I mean, two things can be true.
Rich
can be true.
Rich, am I lying? Am I lying? Isn't that true?
No, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. Listen, I'm pretty good with
It was like a castle.
Yeah, it was a nice house.
In your neighborhood.
No, like we could walk there. It was like 3 blocks over.
Yeah, we didn't have any castles in our neighborhood growing up.
The problem is that Loren,
no.
you got a White Castle.
I don't even know if we have that.
Loren is realizing that maybe she didn't grow up middle class.
Loren, well, what did you have growing up?
And I just said this too. I said maybe my parents did a good enough job shielding us, where I assumed that we grew up middle class. But my father worked 2 jobs and had a whole side hustle. My mother worked, and we lived in a 2-bedroom home. Like, my brother and I shared a bedroom growing up until we moved to Florida. But I mean, like, we were not getting new cars for our 16th birthday. Like,
No.
I bought a beater myself from my hard-earned money that I had been working from the day it was legal for me to be working.
Now, having said all that, you know people around you that probably didn't even have those accommodations.
Yes.
That's what's putting you in. That's what makes you think you were living middle class there.
The other thing, too, is, as we know, a lot of people overspend what they actually make. So it sounds to me like your family lived where they could afford to and had the comfort of being able to sleep at night versus having the greatest car and everything else.
I told Loren and Big Al that I remember Mom saying, after Dad retired, she would tell us, and after we all had, our own careers, and she used to lay awake at night waiting for that paycheck to come. We still were middle class, but we lived paycheck to paycheck.
They did. We did live paycheck to paycheck, and we could have afforded more. Like, I know a little bit more about the finances and things than Steve, because I was the oldest. We lived in a nice home. And my father's father also had a little bit of money and would potentially, from time to time, give him a little bit of money to kind of, hey, here's a down payment for a house.
I'm about to say, now you spilling y'all tea.
Yeah, right, exactly. So that's part of the reason.
Okay.
I mean, he was an airline pilot. He made good money, but he was also a knucklehead when it came to investments and other things. So when you wrap the whole thing around, I would say it's securely upper middle class, but nothing more than that, and probably even on the lower level of that.
You okay with that now?
I'm okay with an upper middle class. I'm okay with that. But you have to realize too that you were afforded very nice things growing up, where a brand new car is
That's
that would have been out of the option
Well,
of
no.
even
That's
trying to
your
think
rub.
about
No,
it.
because there are I went to school with people who had to take the bus until they turned 18, and they saved enough money to do it. I was lucky enough that I had a job that did pay me okay, that I could earn a car at some point.
You're painting us like the Menendez brothers.
I'm not.
We didn't have everything. You understand? Like we got a new car as a graduation gift from high school,
Okay.
and I'm sure my grandfather helped my
but
dad pay for it.
But you had 3
not-
boys too.
2 on top of each other.
The other thing, too, is our grandfather gave us a bunch of money that my father invested and turned into half of. When we finished college, we had half the money we had to start off with.
My dad's investments weren't great. He when you go to Jeopardy and they give you the clue and then you make your bet based off the clue. The clue was things you're going to blow money on, and my dad put all of it in that pot.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
All right.
What not to do.
All right, we got to run. I just wanted
Yeah.
I just wanted to clear my name. I grew up middle class. Loren grew up poor. I just wanted everybody to understand that I didn't grow up this rich white kid in an upper class New Jersey neighborhood. And even if I did, I was still middle class.
I
Big
would
Al.
still like to
Upper
see your
middle class.
upper middle class.
Upper
You got to throw
middle
that in there.
class.
I would like to see your home growing up.
I'll show it to you.
Okay.
And the
Real
castle.
quick, what does Al think, real quick?
Al still lives with his mom and dad.
I was about to say, I really don't have, I think my experience was different. I think, for me, it's still given upper class.
Me.
Yes.
Yeah.
For you,
Yeah.
it's still given upper class, but that's just from my experience and my viewpoint.
Al said when we were talking a little while ago, and I'm going to leave it at this, when he goes to the grocery store, he adds up in his head what he's purchasing so that when he gets to the checkout counter, he doesn't have to take things off the counter in front of other people and be like, oh, I'm not getting this.
Okay.
That's
Al,
life.
Go to Aldi. I shop
Aldi's.
at Aldi.
I should. I do go there. I actually just, we'll talk off the air.
Thank you, Al. Hey, it's Loren from the Maney and Loren Morning Show. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and like this video. And if you love podcasts, we have our full show podcast and the Wrap Party podcast.